One of the things I really noticed right away in the cutscene was that the president's jokes don't really work that well. They don't play into an aspect of reality like the original one did, and in order to prop these up properly, you're going to need to make a bunch of additional logs, or at least edit the existing ones to really add to this version of the president that you're making here. This guy really seems like the type to say, bitches ain't shit but tricks and hoes. I know that seems like a bit of a dated reference, but the president is also fairly older than Olimar and Louis. So you can use that to your advantage. I mean, he complains about back pain a lot too, so. That being said, his more doomer jokes, like the debt and the bottle cap being worth 1 poco for a whole year's salary, really spoke to me on an emotional level. I'd give this man a hug if he didn't make the prostitution joke. I kind of don't want him to touch me after that. I did legitimately laugh when the ship just scanned the bottle cap and went, "Ah!" I feel like there's a way to fix the text wrapping issue that pops up during the tutorial segment, but I don't quite know how. I've never done any modding like this myself, but that's a thing to keep in mind. There should also be a way to change the verbiage in the tutorial if you want to make it a little bit more funny, other than, well, what it says right away. Since this mod seems to come hard with the comedy right away, I felt like it could fit in some more jokes here and there, but maybe you don't want to go overboard yet. I also want to say I appreciate some of the originality here. Having the Pikmin not fight an enemy right away, or not fight a horde of enemies in some of the more obtuse mods I've seen, is actually pretty nice. It is a very original thing to do here. It does feel a little weird that you still have to hunt down the enemy. I would actually suggest putting it over on Louis' side, instead of having it behind the barrier here with Olimar, and maybe making the Pikmin here take out a pellet posy as the tagged enemy. Due to the recoloring, I approached the Dwarf Bulborb here with a little bit of fear, but I was disappointed to find out it's pretty much a normal Bulborb. It would be neat to add an effect to it, actually. Say, it's a small flaming Bulborb. You could actually put a little bit of that, or maybe you shrink down the flaming Bulborb's model and have that take the place here, and that adds a little bit more challenge to each run and what you have to consider to bring with you, because you might encounter these guys. You can also decrease the health pool. Don't give it a full-size health pool. That would be hilarious but terrifying. Having the red Pikmin's leaves turn into even bigger leaves, you know, that got me for a second. I looked at it and I was like, why? I get why. Maybe adding a little bit more detail would really flesh that out. I like that it's just a comical diamond shape though, and it actually adds to their, I guess, they do more damage when attacking because they're red Pikmin. And as much as I loved the Mr. Bean Pokemon card there, I didn't really think about it that it would end the day. I should have thought that out, because then I was 5 Pikmin short the next day. Maybe have it so that it needs to collect both treasures? I don't know. Actually, thinking about that, probably not. Maybe put it behind the bag barrier. Give people a bigger reason to go for that, and it'll further hint off that they need to go that direction. The barrier I mentioned being the bag there next to the Mr. Bean Pokemon card. Though, once more, it would also be really funny if you put it in there with Olimar, and the player got it, and then it ends the day. Would that break anything? I don't know. What you did to the regular Bulborbs, how dare you inspire such fear? Look, I came at this and I fully expected it to be different because it's in a different spot. I didn't think they'd move so fast and target so far and fling your Pikmin so far. It's impossible to lose. It's impossible to do it without losing one is what I'm trying to say, actually. I think this is perfectly fine and fits very well. I wish I could have done live commentary at the time of it, but my son was screaming and Me and my wife were trying to zone out and watch a show on the side. But the sound I made when it started chasing me that far was a very high-pitched squeak. Nowhere near the sound of being murdered that I made when the giant beady long legs, that the fat version of it, dropped on my head in Picky 2, but do not go for that. My son was having nightmares for like an hour. I really genuinely should record live reactions of these, but I just can't all the time. I am sorry, guys. You're gonna have to take my word for it. It was hilarious. I really like the way you get to the Emergence Cave. It really makes the player go out of their way and think how many different ways they can come at it. It's actually, it's nice. It adds a little bit of a puzzling element to it, especially if you've played the game as many times as I have originally. A lot of people just have it be a direct line, and while that's fine and it gives people a sense of comfort for the first areas, it's also nice to flesh it out and make it a little bit weirder, and I like how the Emergence Cave there looks. It really fits the Metroid feel you're going for. It reminds me of the arm cannon thing. Oh my god, I can't remember the name of it. As for inside the cave, it felt like something was missing. Like there was supposed to be something else there. I can't really name what it is. Maybe a different enemy type? Maybe another treasure? If you're planning on special Pikmin types, because I know you're planning on the special white Pikmin type, maybe have one of them in there, or maybe you could actually have a Puffman or something like that. Just rip the models from Pikmin 1 and put them in there. I don't know if you can do that, but it's a thing to have in mind. The Puffman, of course, acting like a Zero Suit or a phase-on variation of original Pikmin, which would really enhance that Metroid feel you're going for. Putting the berries on the stump here looks really cool, but is actually very impractical because you can't get them. I tried for several minutes, and I got maybe 20 Pikmin on it, and then I just reached the conclusion it's not worth the time to do it, and went elsewhere. I love the edit to the beetle here, the armored beetle. Oh my god, I can't remember any of the enemy names tonight for some reason. Having the valley here also be a snowy area or a very light area doesn't work super well. Why not take some inspiration from, I want to say Metroid Prime 3, and instead have this be a very rocky cave-like surface area. This could actually also play into the previous game, the Forest Naval. Maybe dim the lights a little bit. Doing that actually opens up to a lot of cave-like flora and fauna that are in the Metroid series, that are also seen in the 2D games, including, I believe, some in Metroid Dread. I don't really recall. I haven't played Metroid Dread yet. When I was walking back, I noticed the bridge here, and I was very perplexed. The placement of it is not exactly normal, but I really like it. I don't have anything else to say about it. It's just kind of neat to see it here and neat to have a way across. Especially since the bag barricade over there requires 100 Pikmin. I did go get white Pikmin to see how far I could get in this. And this was when I remembered that the white Pikmin were like this. Listen, I don't know how much else you plan on changing about these guys, but just seeing the changed model made me really excited for some reason. I did a sharp intake, you know, one of those where you see something and you're like, oh my. I did break down the wall over where you're supposed to normally get the next globe area map thing. And I found that I couldn't really go there. See, it opens up to the Snaggerit hole, and while I could definitely do it, I do not want to do that right now and push the limits of where you expected us to go. And also, since you haven't edited the holes yet, I've already beaten the Snaggerit hole a lot, and I just didn't want to go back through it. I could have went around and grabbed the globes, the part of the globe over there again, but that just didn't seem worth my time, if I'm totally honest. I'm not trying to insult it or anything, it's just that I didn't think the next area that I could unlock would have a bunch of content quite yet, so I didn't really go there. After that, I went out to the main menu and tried to get into that 11-day save file you have there for us, but when it did, my game crashed and I had to cancel out a dolphin, which is, I guess a thing. There was an attempt here. I don't know what the attempt was. I apologize for being harsh on it. I had fun with the short bits that were here, and I really liked the edit to the white Pikmin that was done. I like the changes that have been done so far, but I feel like you said, this is only 1/6 of the way to completion. So, hey, there's a lot of promise in this. It's looking good so far.